All right, welcome to Life Extension Live. I'm your host, Dr. Mike, and I'm here with my co host, Dr. Crystal Gossard. How are you?
I'm great, Dr. Mike. How are you?
I'm good. This is a good topic. I think this is a lot of people are going to want to watch this and share this. We're going to be talking about appetite, right? And what
Yes.
does that really mean? And why is my appetite so aggressive? And, maybe, and how do I control it? Is that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Now, I'm going to begin with something. So when we started to put this show together, the first thing Dr. Crystal wrote was eating delicious food is a good thing, and having an appetite is a good thing.
Yes.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, right?
Yes, absolutely. And so we know that some people we want you to have a healthy relationship with food. Let's put it that way. And so we are not saying that or in any way trying to promote starvation or
No,
any
no,
like
no,
you a
no,
healthy appetite is vital for life.
for sure. Yeah, okay. But before we go on any further, maybe just real quick, we should talk a little bit about like appetite versus hunger, just real fast.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't want to get because this is not really part of the show, but just because people may ask, hunger basically is purely physiological. It's like I need to eat. I need volume of stuff in my stomach. That's hunger.
Yes.
Appetite may be a result of hunger, but it's appetite is so much more. Appetite's kind of like the whole body part of eating, right? The brain gets involved, the saliva gets involved, like you get excited if you're gonna eat something good. Like that's appetite, right?
Yes, and yes, appetite is about desire and the inputs controlling that can be internal or external. So as you mentioned, there are hormones that's controlling appetite, but it also relates to your environment, how you were raised,
Yeah.
your emotional state. So there's a psychological component to it, and oftentimes you just see it presented as lack of self-will,
Yeah. Oh no, no. And that's big. That's we don't want to approach it that way either, right? That's not.
no.
It's there is good biology going on inside your body that drives hunger and appetite, right? And
Mhm.
so we need to move past that. I don't
Right.
know. It was like maybe in the '90s, 2000s, there was a lot of diet plans kind of pushing you need more willpower, that kind of stuff. That
Mhm.
needs to go out. That needs to leave.
Yeah.
I just don't think that has a place anymore. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, I think now that we understand it more, there are strategies that you can incorporate that can help, and it goes beyond the willpower. You want to figure out how can you fight against the physiology in a sense, like
Yeah.
how can you support a healthy physiology so that you can you know, make healthier choices and have a little more control.
Yeah. So today's show, we're going to focus more on, I think, the internal factors, the
Mhm.
appetite hormones, and ways to balance those. Right. So you're controlling your appetite more than your appetite controlling you. And
Yes.
so we're going to focus on that. But there is that psychological component. There's a lot of programs coming out. I was laughing the other day, Dr. Crystal, because I'm not going to say the program, but there's a bunch
Okay.
of commercials and they're identifying like your trigger to want to eat. And so there's some people who've been trained to finish their plate, like they're the plate finishers. There's
Right?
other people that have been trained that to eat is to love that person that made you that food. And I'm watching this laughing, and especially on my Greek side of the family, I'm
Mhm.
all of it. I all of it. When I was growing up with my grandma, you finished your plate and everything came from love, and you didn't want to disappoint that. I'm like, that's me. That's me.
Yes, yes. Yes, and so that's the I think the psychological part, the learned behaviors that I think it is important for us to get to a place where you can recognize that
Yeah.
piece of it and realize that that it doesn't have to be. Some of those learned behaviors
It's
may
true.
not be
Yeah.
the best
They,
behaviors for you. So I think there
they
is
could be
a place
modified.
for that.
They could be modified at the end
Right.
of the day. All right. So here's what we're going to do on today's show. We're going to go ahead and address why dieting can actually make you want to eat more. It's kind of funny. It does
Yeah.
happen. We're going to talk about the
Counterintuitive.
do's and don'ts of appetite control.
Mhm.
And then we're going to talk about the latest nutrients for appetite. And again, we're focusing more on the internal aspect of appetite versus
Mhm.
the external triggers for today's show. So let's get right into this. That first one is really intriguing, right? Why can dieting actually work against you completely?
I
And
know.
it actually want you to eat more. And it's more than just the fact that you're taking in fewer calories. There's some really interesting physiology going on, isn't there?
Yes, well, the moment that there is what we would consider an energy deficit, the body says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Where's the food? Where are the calories? Where are the nutrients? Maybe, maybe I need to ramp up my signaling processes
Yeah.
to make this person
Get more.
bring in more."
Yeah.
And that's essentially what's happening. So you do see that eating less and even sometimes the exercise component or the weight loss, the body is now trying to understand what's happening with this decrease in intake. So first thing is you see an increase in your hunger hormones,
Yeah.
ghrelin to be one of those. You see.
And let's be, and before you go on from that, let's again, this is the internal aspect of appetite. And it's pretty simple, Dr. Crystal, when you think about it a little bit.
Mhm.
My the human body, and I know it's hard for us to understand this today because there's food everywhere. I mean, at least for
Mhm.
most people. I mean,
Mhm.
food issues, food scarcity, major issues for different parts of the world. I get that.
Mhm.
But in the United States, we're blessed beyond belief with food everywhere.
Yes.
And so it's hard for people to wrap their heads around this, but for most of human history, starvation and dying from starvation was a real issue.
Very
And,
true.
and so the human body, being as resilient as it is, has come up with a lot of mechanisms ultimately to prevent you from starving during a famine.
Yes, and you could argue that there are more mechanisms designed to make you want
Yes.
to
Yeah.
eat, to make you want to store nutrients than those designed
Exactly.
to make you
Yeah.
want to stop.
The minute you start dieting and decreasing your calorie intake from the norm, your body says, "Oh, famine.
Right.
What's happening?" And then boom, hormones go up. Now, it doesn't happen that. It may take some time, right? There's a time period for all this to occur, but ultimately, like you mentioned, the hormones increasing, that's one of the ways your body protects from a famine. So you might want to eat things maybe you wouldn't normally eat, but you're
Right?
going to reach out to them to get some nutrients out of
Exactly. So, that's the first thing. And then you also have hormones that help you to feel satisfied between meals. And so one of those is glucagon, like peptide 1, GLP-1, and that actually decreases. So again, we're seeing signals in the body that are adjusting and adapting, um, really not helping our weight loss efforts, unfortunately, in this case, because we have been living in a world of abundance. But you see the hunger hormones increase, the satiating hormones decrease. You actually also see your resting energy expenditure or your metabolic rate
it. Yeah. It
also
drops.
decrease.
It
So the
drops.
body's conserving energy.
Yeah, so you're eating fewer calories, so your body burns the fat and stuff that you want to lose weight from, but yet your body also turns around and says, "Well, I'm going to decrease my need for calories."
Right.
So you're eating less, and then your body says, "Famine, let's turn everything off." And
Right.
so sometimes your fat cells still kind of sit there; they're not being affected by it because your body's turned that furnace down.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we're explaining all of this, and obviously, the next section we're going to get to the do's and the don'ts, and practical solutions to help to manage it. But I think this part, Dr. Mike, it just makes you feel better because it's not all in your head.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
it's one of those things that there are
you
strategies to overcome some of the physiological processes that's
when
occurring.
when you're dieting because you want to lose some weight, you want to get in a healthier weight, you are literally going against eons of years of adapted evolution to make sure you don't starve. And we wonder why it's so hard to lose weight.
I
I mean,
know.
you're fighting against these mechanisms that have developed over eons of time.
Yes, and
So
maybe
how are we
that
going to
can
do that then? Like,
yes,
because
yes, and
at the
hopefully
end of the day, we want to manage these things we just talked about better, right?
right,
Okay.
absolutely. So we do have a list of don'ts. We'll start with those first, and then the do's. So if we're encouraging you to try not to do the items that are on our don't list. So first, Dr. Mike,
Okay.
very simple. Just don't overdo it. Take it slow.
Sounds too simple to be true, but it is probably one of the biggest things you could do to set yourself for success.
Point blank, period. And
Boom.
that takes a little planning, right? So if you are going on whatever the motivation, let's use this example. You have a vacation planned in the Caribbeans. Um, you know, don't wait until a month before and you're like, crunch
Oh,
time.
yeah.
I've got to get into,
I got to lose
my
25 pounds in 3 days. Let's do it.
right. That is one of the worst things to
Yeah.
do to your body because again, we've explained what happens when you just go too fast, you haven't given your body a chance to adjust. So, think long term, at least 6 months ahead of time. And it all depends on, what your goals are. But start early so that you can go slow so that
Yeah,
the
that's great.
the success that you experience will be lasting success.
Yeah, and that's a key point because we're if weight is an issue for you, your ultimate goal here is to create a new lifestyle around food, a new lifestyle around exercise, a new lifestyle around maintaining that healthy weight. And so doing things really fast is not helping you achieve that at all. And as a matter of fact, Dr. Chris and I talked about this. Another way of thinking of it, the harder you do something, the faster and harder you make a change in your body, the more your body will resist that, right?
Right.
The body doesn't like change that fast. If you let the body work with you, do it slow, take it slow, you still will see some of this happening, but it's not as bad, and you can manage those steps that we covered better, and help you to maintain that weight loss that you're experiencing.
Yes. So that is number one. Don't overdo it. Take it slow. Number two is and I know Dr. Mike, you kind of wanted to elaborate on this, the cheat day
Oh,
concept.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
Like all your efforts
Well,
are focused on making it to that cheat day.
yeah. See, there's been some studies that have shown because this is what most people do. They allow cheat days, right? So
Hmm.
let's say you're cutting calories, and I don't know, whatever diet plan you're on, because at the end of the day, you guys, whether it's a paleo or South Beach or whatever, but it's at the end of the day, you're eating less, right, Doctor?
Right.
I mean, that's we're eating less calories, and so a lot of people see it this way: I'm going to go through like 5 days or 6 days or whatever that is of those lower, fewer calories, and then I'm going to allow myself to have a cheat day. And here's what some studies have shown: that cheat days, if you're not really disciplined, end up being cheat weeks.
Yes.
It's harder to get back into the groove when you've had that cheat day. So what I've proposed, I don't know if
Mhm.
I told you this, what I propose is instead of thinking of it as a cheat day, how about how about a cheat meal?
Okay.
Not a day. So you're still pretty much following your diet plan, you're cutting your calories, but at one meal, you're going to allow a little bit extra cheese on that pizza or whatever. Or instead of one slice, you're going to give yourself two slices or whatever that is. That's probably a healthier way of thinking of cheating versus a whole day.
Yeah, I think that's great. Number 3, we have don't over exercise. Now
Ooh, I like that one.
this is something that I saw routinely, and I've done it myself occasionally, but it's that person that there are two parts to this. One is the person who is just over exercising, and again the body is now fighting against that energy deficit because they've gone from zero exercise to two a days. And it's like, whoa. And then number two, it's also the person that, you know, gets in there, goes too hard, too soon, and you suffer an injury, or it's just such a poor experience and you're sore for the next 2 weeks
Right.
that, you know, you kind of you give up.
Yeah.
And
I've done
so
that. I've hello. I've
we
done
all
that.
have. We
Well,
all have.
I'm a little too sore today. Let me just skip today, and then it becomes easier to skip the next day and the next day. It's just like it's easy to extend cheat days. It's the
Right.
same thing, kind of, right?
Yeah, so slowly work your way up. You know, even start with going out for a walk. You know, it doesn't have to be an hour
It doesn't have
long
to be
walk,
crazy. It doesn't have to be
15,
crazy.
20-minute walk. And then you can work your way up to maybe you're walking some, jogging for about a minute or so, and kind of following the walk jog or the
Yeah,
walk skip method. And then you can work your way up to a longer jog. But the point is take it slow.
yeah. I think
Yeah, it
that's
goes back
key.
to that.
Take it slow in terms of calorie amount, exercise, and I think that's kind of the take home message here, right?
Right.
Slow, slow is going to be better.
Yep. Now number 4, no extreme diets.
Yeah, I don't like. There's crazy stuff out there.
Yeah, there really is, and so if you want a trusted source, find a licensed nutrition professional. Ask your doctor for a referral. Some of them actually accept insurance, so there are very little out of cost. Um, you know, out of pocket costs for that. So you know there are resources to help you check your insurance for that, but try to you want to learn an approach that can be lasting.
Yeah.
And the extreme diets, yes,
You could lose weight.
you
Yeah.
may lose 10 pounds
Yeah.
in one week,
You could lose
but
weight.
you
It's
probably will gain 15 back.
because they're not designed to get you into that new lifestyle.
Right.
That new lifestyle of how you think about food, exercise, weight, right? All that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Number five, I thought was interesting because although I do think you need to plan your day with some snacks,
Hmm.
I don't fight that. That's okay. If you get hungry around 2 o'clock, that if you're working hard at work, kids, and you need a little, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just what you're snacking on.
Right.
So tell us about
Um,
that.
so the sugary snacks, the salty snacks, all those are doing is creating signals in the body that is going to make it harder for you to control your appetite in the future. So it's, you know, if you go for that sugar, the body is going to get a rush of sugar into the bloodstream. You're going to crash. You will be hungry shortly after. It's those are facts, Dr. Mike.
Yeah,
Um,
there's no debating this.
no debating it.
No debate here.
And so it's because the blood sugar decreases from that rush. And then the body is now looking for more energy, more resources, more fuel. So that is something just to consider. And so we're saying not to choose those. So what are some healthy snacks? Keep around the house cottage cheese, whole fruit. Note we're not saying fruit juice. So whole
Yeah.
fruit
Whole
with
fruit.
the skin on, if
Yeah.
possible.
Get some of that
Um,
fiber, right? Yeah.
yes, nuts, yogurt.
Those are
I
good
like
things.
to keep popcorn. But I like my afternoon popcorn.
And there are brands now that, for a cup of popcorn, it's like 50 calories. It's like very low and there's no added stuff to it. That's yeah,
And you're getting fiber,
yeah,
which is going to help you keep you full.
yeah,
So those are some strategies and things that you should try to avoid that will help to overcome those biological adaptations
yeah.
that's getting in the way of your success.
Now the do's. So those are the don'ts. The
Right.
do, if you think about it, it's interesting. It's a springboard off of the idea overall to take it slow, right?
Yes.
So tell us about the fact that we don't want to rush any of this.
Yes.
I think that's the whole thing.
Right. So if you want to have sustainable weight loss, meaning you are wanting to not yo-yo up and down with your weight, then you have to take it slow. Moderate or modest weight loss is sustainable weight loss. And set small goals. And I think I might be jumping ahead a little bit, but research does show that as little as 5% of weight loss makes a difference in regard to cardiometabolic health. So your
That
goal does not have to be 50, 100 pounds right away. Just a little bit can make a big difference.
yeah.
And
So this that 5% is from some recent study, right? Or a couple of studies showing that at 5%, you may not be at the weight you want yet,
mhm,
but your body's benefiting.
exactly.
Sugar gets better, insulin gets better, heart gets better. Like there's improved. I mean, solid research showing at 5% weight loss, things start to improve. So maybe since we want people to like, if the overall message is slow it down, maybe instead of thinking of it this way, maybe instead of thinking, oh, I got 100 pounds to lose, how
Mhm.
about if I break that up into 5%,
Yes.
like one little nugget at a time? 5% here, 5% there. Yeah, that may take you a longer time, but it's safer, it's healthier. You're gonna manage the body's counter reaction to all that.
Right.
And I think you're gonna be more successful.
Yes. Well, that's what research shows. And so that kind of goes into setting those small, achievable goals. That was our do number two. So I like that, Dr. Mike, the 5%.
That's kind of neat, right? Like
Yes.
break it up a little bit, and
Uh-huh.
hey, let's reach that goal and woohoo, celebrate it, and
Yes.
then you get on to the next.
And look at it. I don't know why I think of a road trip with this, but I think of it as, or you should think of it as a journey, not like a quick one-way flight. Meaning, sometimes if you go on a cross-country journey, there may be a flat tire here, there. There may
Yeah.
be, hopefully you don't run out of gas, but there may be some challenges along the way. If you are traveling with your partner, there may be some arguments, some
Hmm.
disagreements about the music, but so there may be challenges, and then there will be the successes and
Yeah.
the views that you'll see along the way.
I like that.
and
Yeah.
and, and
Take
the,
take the slow car trip across the country. Think of it that way versus a plane that just shoom, and you're there. Yeah.
exactly.
I like
Um,
that. That's pretty
so
good.
yeah, and if you think of it that way, there will be times where you may get on the scale, you may not see the progress that you want to see. There may be setbacks, but that doesn't mean that the road trip is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. I like that. Now let's move in. So many of you know Dr. Crystal is a doctor of clinical nutrition. She's really up to date in all the different food sources, macronutrients, micronutrients. So I
Mhm.
think we should spend just a little bit of time talking about how do I approach all this? Because I don't know if somebody needs to follow a specific diet or not. I think you can do just as fine planning some fewer calorie days and focus on healthier foods. I think that right there is a plan.
That's a
So
great plan.
yeah, so help us a little bit. Like what foods should I be eating? How much protein? How much like help us to understand a little bit of the food behind this.
Okay, sure. And just to keep in mind the we're looking at this in the spectrum of foods related to appetite control, but this helps just in general. So, one, for appetite, you want to think protein. It is the most satiating or food that can help to keep you satisfied for longer out if you compare to carbs or to fats. So think protein. And what does this look like? Your breakfast in the morning. You can have maybe um, a piece of toast, or you can have that toast with some nut butter on the
Mhm. Oh,
toast,
I like that. Yeah.
instead of going for the pastry or going for, the donut for breakfast. How can you add in some protein for that? Because that is what's going to help to keep you full longer
Yeah, yeah.
so that
Protein
you're
is what makes you feel full the most, right? At the end of the day.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one. Fiber.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm sorry, let's go back to protein really quick. Protein, you want to consider 1.5, maybe up to 2 grams per kilogram of weight.
Right. And that's
Um,
a little higher than normal, what you might recommend because people are dieting,
right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you're wanting to preserve muscle.
yeah. So
Typical, you see, just your general guidelines is about zero point 0.8 to about 1.2 grams per kilogram
kilograms.
of weight. And to calculate your kilograms, you just take your weight in pounds and divide that by 2.2, and that'll give you your weight in kilograms. So that's kind of looking at the protein requirements, but I like to suggest a little bit more, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think there are times when we need more protein intake.
Hmm.
There's times maybe you're starting to really get into the exercise and you're loving it. You're not overdoing it,
Right?
but you're loving it. Maybe a little more protein would be helpful. So
Yes.
that's fine. Now I know you're waiting to move into this next one because we always every day Crystal tells me something about fiber.
Well, why not? Fiber is
Every
the
day.
best.
Hey, did you know fiber? Hey, did you know fiber? Hey, did you know fiber? It's like all day long.
Well, the problem is the diet that most people eat is lacking in fiber. Most of the foods that we eat, especially if it's a refined carb, the fiber has been removed. The white rice, the fiber is no longer there. The white
Yeah,
bread, the white flour, there's no more fiber. So in foods that, traditionally we would have been receiving fiber, we're just not
nothing. Yeah,
anymore.
those foods you just said are what most Americans are consuming a lot on a daily basis. So
Right.
on a daily basis, we're lacking fiber at the end of the day.
Yes. So if you're wanting to control your appetite, get some fiber
Get
in.
some
Now,
fiber
this
in.
could
Yeah,
be in the form of supplements or beans, nuts,
nuts.
great sources of fiber, whole grains, any type of carb if you're going to have it, look for whole grain,
Mhm.
not whole wheat. And because whole grain will give you more of the bran and the outer parts of the wheat plant. And so that's what brown rice, of course, as I mentioned, those are going to be ways to give you a little more fiber, and it will keep you full
Yeah.
longer.
So that's great, fiber, and I like that you said supplementation there is fine too.
Yeah.
Increase the nuts, increase the seeds, but sometimes, especially when you're first starting and you're not used to eating those foods, it can be a little rough.
Yes.
So sometimes some easily digestible fiber
Mhm.
supplements could help you as you get going. But at the end of the day, I think it should be more food forward here when it comes to fiber.
I agree. Other things to consider, your hydration, the
That's
thirst
good. Yep.
signal. hunger signal, sometimes that can get
They get
a
yeah, they
little
get
mixed
mixed
up.
up. Yeah. You think you're hungry, you're actually thirsty.
Right.
Yeah.
So we, and this is something that I wanted to talk about, and it's kind of that the pause that you take mentally and physically before you get up and go to the kitchen is pause and say, okay, let's have a glass of water. Let's have some tea.
Yeah.
Let's figure out if this is what's going on. Let's figure out why, I'm kind of feeling the munchies. Am I upset about something? So it's kind of that, I think you mentioned practice the pause. That actually
Yeah.
helps with appetite as well, but in
Yeah.
regard to the thirst hunger signal, it never hurts to pick up a glass of water, drink that, and then wait about 5 minutes or so and see how you feel.
Yeah, I love it. I love practice the pause because you can do it in any kind of interaction you will ever have in your life, including with yourself.
Very
Right?
true.
Just pause for a sec. Am I really hungry? Maybe I'm just thirsty. Let me slow down before I jump into that bag of chips. Right?
Right. And so, what has helped me personally is I am pausing, and before I grab a snack, I actually make a cup of tea. Sometimes it's green tea,
Because that slows
sometimes
everything down a little bit for
it's,
you, right? Just slow
yes,
down.
it's
Yeah.
mint tea. That minty flavor, for some reason, satisfies me. The
Yeah.
chamomile tea, it just it does something. It triggers
Well,
me in
I'll tell
some kind
you.
of way.
You're onto something there. I had success. I don't know a lot of if the audience knows this, but I had a company a long time ago called Diet Basics, and I learned from some of my clients
Mhm.
that whenever they were hungry, not only would they do something like tea, but they would also brush their teeth with a minty toothpaste. And for whatever reason, that really seemed to cut that appetite. So I think there's something with the mint. I don't know, but it did seem to work. So if you don't want to brush your teeth, fine, have a minty tea.
Yes. So it
And see how,
works.
see how that works for you. The last thing you had mentioned was, and I think this is key. You have to have accountability here.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you can't be your own accountability partner. That doesn't work that way.
Right.
So you got to find somebody that can help you out.
Yes, and find someone, and it can be challenging sometimes, someone that you're comfortable with, someone that is not coming across as too judgy, but you want your accountability partner to be a little judgy. Dr. Mike, maybe, when we're in the office and you see me with going down the wrong path, if we're in the break room and the donuts are there, give me a look.
Yeah,
It's but
yeah.
yes, having someone to keep you accountable is very important, which takes us to something new that Life Extension is
Oh,
developing.
the app.
Yes. We have an app that will soon be in app stores, and I like to call it your personalized pocket. What was my
Pocket accountability partner.
yes, that's what I called it.
You don't
So,
remember. I remember. See, she's being accountable to me so I can help her through the show.
yes. So that's something to look out for. We will give you more information on that later, but I think that it's something that's worth downloading to
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
you to be accountable.
So we've covered a lot of stuff. We talked about how your body, when you start to diet, your body has things it does. It increases certain hormones to want to eat. It decreases hormones that say you're fine, you don't need to eat anymore. Slows down your metabolism, and those are kind of more the internal parts of appetite. And I know you have been looking at some research, right? And you're pretty excited about a couple of herbs really that could be very helpful in
Yes.
helping you not say you but these things don't stand alone. You got to do the do's we talked about, don't do the
Mhm.
don'ts. But
Mhm.
these herbs could help, a little bit, right? Tell us about what you found.
Yeah, so I have been, digging in the research, and I'm really impressed by some of the research with a combination of two herbs, lemon verbena and hibiscus extract. And together, they have been shown to help to support appetite. They have been shown to help aid in modest weight loss and weight management. There is one study that I wanted to share with all of you is an 8-week placebo-controlled study published in 2018. Now, note this is not the only study using these two herbal nutrients, which also makes me very excited about it. There's 2019 studies, some older research as well, but this particular study I wanted to highlight because it identified weight loss in 47 overweight um, and obese women.
Okay.
And what's nice about this study is they also encourage lifestyle modification. So advised to ingest about 2,200 calories per day, and in no way is that kind of considered
That's not
low
that's not
calories.
low. That's not low calorie at all. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Encouraged to walk at least 30 minutes daily during this 2-month study. And what's nice, the results, there was about a 56.4% decrease in feelings of hunger on average. There was a significant increase in that satiety hormone, and that is the
Yeah.
GLP-1 that I mentioned earlier. That's the hormone that helps you to feel satisfied between your meals. There was
But
also
right there, to go back to those original steps we talked about, right there, it looks like this combination is having an effect on bringing down that hunger hormone, bringing up the one that says, "Hey, you feel good, you don't need to eat anymore." So right there, it looks like a reversal of what the body's trying to do.
correct. And so the herbal preparation was it was actually 500 milligrams of the combined herbal preparation, and it was given 20 to 30 minutes before breakfast. And of course there was a placebo control group to compare the two. And what's nice is you did see some modest weight loss in the placebo group, but what was really special is to see that improvement in those hunger signals
Yeah, that's good.
that
I like
that
that.
we know sometimes just can become you know our worst enemy when we're
Yeah.
trying to lose weight.
And there's other results there. Those that were taking the combination extract, BMI came down, weight circumference, even blood pressure and heart rate improved. Right? I mean that. So again, you're looking at an overall total benefit to a lot of body parts, basically. Right? And we know
Exactly.
that this is one of the studies that supports the idea that a 5% weight loss has benefit. Not It's not always just about weight. It has benefits in a lot of other aspects of health.
Yes. So that's something new that I wanted to share that I'm just finding the research impressive. Other nutritional things that you may want to think about: saffron. We have talked about saffron on many
One of my
shows.
favorites. One of my favorites.
Tried and true, 100 and about 76 milligrams of a standardized saffron can help with some of the emotional aspects of eating, some of those carb cravings.
Yep.
So that's something to consider. And then something else to look out for in the research: capsaicin.
Jason.
And
Yeah.
remember, we had a live on, and was it all about capsaicin or was
Yeah.
it just spices, right?
Spices. It was about spices, and we touched a little bit on that. There are a few different research groups looking at capsaicin, and because it's one of those things where people have always said the hot spices kind of always rev you up a little bit, and that's just kind of like a thing that's accepted, but no
Right.
one's really looked at research showing does that really happen.
Mhm.
And so now people are looking at research and weight loss and increases in metabolism with the spicy food or the spices like capsaicin. So looks we have to kind of wait. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yes, so I'm excited about the research that we do have, um, that's just showing that it is increasing uh, fat burning or that
Yeah,
thermogenesis. It is increasing energy expenditure. Support it actually supports appetite control, and so I would love to see more of that research. And when we have it, we'll definitely share it with you.
yeah. Wow, what a great show. That was a lot. We covered a lot. I appreciate everybody watching and learning today. Now we have this is an article, right, Dr. Crystal? Do
Yes,
appetite suppressants work? And you can read more about what we've kind of talked about today at lifeextension.com/appetite. And you can check out that article. Dr. Crystal, thanks for joining me.
thank you, Dr. Mike.
Again, everybody, thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment. And just remember, we go live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. I'm Dr. Mike. Thanks for watching.